Hey, and I need all cross, and I'ma sip on this bud till my door gone. Tucked off on these niggas like I'm Wardo, and bitch, we gon' stay with the juice till it's all gone. Ruthless.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to episode 3 of the Effin Football Podcast, Mock Draft Edition. I'm one of your hosts, Rory JC, with Dolla and Tyler Welty. I thought they might come in there and be like, hey, with their own group.
I'm high. We're really high.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
All right.
We're doing a podcast right now?
We are.
Okay.
We're live.
Are you sure we're recording?
We're live
Are
to
we
literally fives to
Alright,
tens
sweet.
of peoples. You know?
Thank you all 5 of you.
Yeah, we're getting some views on some episode 1, some episode 2s, maybe less views, but follow us on Twitter at Effin Football, find us on YouTube at Effin Football. We're trying to build this shit up, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to make the foundation, grow a little following, but really out here we're just talking smack for fun and making some motherfucking football analysis and predictions. Like, that's what it's all about. What are we talking about today, Welty?
We're going to do the 2018 NFL Draft. It's going to happen on Thursday. We'll have the first round, and then you'll have Friday, the second and third, and then there we go with Saturday. You'll have the 5th through the 7th. But we're just going to do top 12 right now. Everyone does the top 10, but we're cooler, so we're going to go all the way to 12 with trades. So all these quarterbacks, there's no way that that's going to stay the same draft order. Things are going to change, and this podcast is going to reflect that.
A lot of great number 12s in the NFL.
There are a lot of great number 12s. Rich Gannon, everybody would think of at number 1.
Everyone, yeah.
Tom Brady, maybe?
Definitely not Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's
or
number
Aaron
12 too.
Rodgers.
Broadway Joe Namath,
I believe.
Yeah, you're right. I thought Rich Gannon too right away. But
Chris Chandler,
Richie G.
I don't
Wasn't
know.
Randall
Chris-
Cunningham number 12? for a while?
Randall Cunningham was
Yeah, with
number
the
12
Eagles.
for like
Jeff
most of his career.
George.
It was 2.
He played for several different teams. I'm sure.
Ryan Sipe.
You know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Famous number 12.
That's all I
Yeah.
got.
All right. Well, good intro. All I can say is shout out to Batman and shout out to Marilyn Monroe. Holla at your boy. Back from the dead. So should we just jump right in here? And so the way we're going to format this, we're doing our top 12 mock draft selections for the 2018 NFL football draft. And we're going to go, as opposed to each host doing their full list straight through, we're going to go slot by slot. And we're going to start with the number 1 overall pick. And who wants to jump on it right away?
I'll start.
All right.
I'm going to say with the number 1 overall pick, the Browns select quarterback Sam Darnold, USC. I think the Browns finally take a legit number 1 overall pick at quarterback. I think Sam Darnold is probably the safest pick as a quarterback. He'll have time to develop properly behind a stopgap quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. They added good surrounding talent on offense with Jarvis Landry and Carlos Hyde. They're going to need more, but he will have time to properly develop. I think that they're actually going to do it right this time and select Darnold.
How do you feel about Sam Darnold, Welty?
I mean, I like Sam Darnold, but we're talking about the Browns here. So every time you think they're doing something, they should.
This is
They're going to be doing something they
thinking.
shouldn't. Yeah, that's what you would do, I think. But I'm going to go
But I think
with.
it will happen.
We'll see if they get smart, but it's the Browns. So I'm going to say they could take Josh Allen. They are really bummed they missed out on Carson Wentz. They cry themselves to sleep every night while the Eagles win Super Bowls. But yeah, I think they're going to look at Josh Allen and see what they missed out on last year or a couple years ago, and they're just
Wait,
excited.
is this your pick?
Yeah, Josh Allen's my pick,
Okay,
man.
you got to declare that shit. I
Number
didn't even
1
know
overall,
how-
Josh Allen from Wyoming is happening.
How is our legion of fans gonna know what we're talking about if you don't declare it? It's a declaration.
The declaration of the number 1 overall pick. But yeah, he just seems like a Browns pick overall to me. You just feel like that's where they're going to go. They're going to love his arm strength, his mobility. and just their envy of Carson Wentz is going to be the factors behind them doing that. So Josh Allen, number 1 overall pick to the Cleveland Browns.
Boom. For the exact same reasons, my number 1 pick in the mock draft to the Cleveland Browns, I'm also going Josh Allen, and I'm doing it for this reason. I feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean? Like, there's all this rumors and talk, the scouts, the analysts, Josh Allen number 1 for why? I mean, why else? You know, there's no, like, strategic advantage in terms of trades. They're number 1 slotted. They're not trying to play mind games to make sure they get their guy. Like, I think that Sam Darnold should be the pick. Honestly, if I was the general manager.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what they should do, but I just don't feel like that's what they're going to do.
I think they're going to be the Browns, and that they're going to take Josh Allen. And I don't know if you watched episode 2. If you did, or if you didn't, you can go find it on YouTube. Effin Football Podcast, EP2. Deuce actually put it Deux. Doe.
It's French.
I don't know if you watched that. A couple of us here on the host panel, we don't like Josh Allen. Okay, not that we hate him, not that we dislike him as a person. We just don't like him.
No, $sign hates him.
$sign hates him.
I hate what he represents, but from what I hear, he's an awesome kid. I think what's happening is he's just charming the shit out of GMs. And they're
well played. If you can charm yourself into millions of dollars, I applaud you. You're the man.
Yeah, I think. Well, he's got an epic arm. Dolla, what you saw that soul? It used to be sports science. Now it's soul science.
Soul science segment with Trent Dilfer and John Brinkus from Sports Science. They measured some of his throws. He threw like 74 miles an hour a football. That's like the hardest throw they've ever tracked. So he has serious arm talent, but that's about it. And then he's got great size too, but I think that he will take the longest of any quarterback to develop.
All right, I got a question for you guys. So we all think they're taking quarterback, obviously. How long do you think it takes for that quarterback to start over Tyrod Taylor? Week 1, week 4, maybe the whole season he sits out? What do you think?
It depends on how well he plays. It depends on
period.
If they're a solid team and they're in the playoff hunt, you stick with Taylor and he's playing well. But if it's an abomination like last year, then he's going to play whatever quarterback they take is going to play sooner than later.
Hugh Jackson's job relies on the performance of the Browns this season. He's got a pass for probably the worst 2-year run by any head coach in the history of the NFL.
I think it is. It is actually.
Like statistically, I can't imagine that there was a worse run than 1
They
and 31.
won, one game.
1 game in 2 years. I'm a big fan of Hugh Jackson. I think he's a brilliant offensive mind. Did wonders with Andy Dalton, made the Raiders competitive several years back. But it depends on the quarterback. If it's Josh Allen, he could sit the whole year. If it's Sam Darnold, he could be in there week 4. Who knows?
That's why I'm leaning towards Darnold. It's a safer pick for Hugh Jackson.
I'm
a Tyrod Taylor fan. Like, I think he can steer the ship.
Maybe.
I don't think they give him a chance. I think week 1, whoever they draft is going to be their starter. Tyrod Taylor is just in case.
I don't agree with that at all.
I
don't agree with that at all. That's what I think. That's why the Josh Allen thing seems so plausible. We have our starting quarterback this year. We're not even planning on throwing Josh out on the field. He hasn't played this sort of competition. He's not seasoned. His completion percentage is way too low. Josh Allen, 6'5", 237 pounds, as measured at the combine. He's got legitimate quarterback size.
But it's the Browns, guys. It's the Browns. Just remember, they have an infinite history of just doing the wrong thing over and over and over. So, yeah, we'd like to think they would do the right thing and let Tyrod Taylor steal the ship. They might even get to the playoffs, like best case scenario. But they're not going to do that. Josh Allen will woo them in preseason with his mobility and his strong arm. And, yeah, from there, they're going to give him the keys to the car and let him take off.
Yeah, Derek doesn't have anything to do with this, okay?
Raiders bias.
We're going to joke around. Are we going to start making jokes or something? I think Josh Allen's a joke. No, actually, I really like that soul science piece. He hit a crossbar like a soccer frame crossbar from 35 yards out. The only quarterback who they tested, it's a slight judge of accuracy, but he had accuracy issues. He completed 56.2% of his passes in college.
Playing for Wyoming.
In 2017, he accomplished the terrible stat of 6.7 yards an attempt, and that is just garbage bad.
Okay, when you see the wide receivers at Wyoming catching 70 miles an hour footballs, and then you're gonna see Jarvis Landry and Josh Gordon catching these footballs, this is gonna be a different
They are
game.
probably hard to catch.
Yeah. I just remember they played in Wyoming where it was cold all the time. You think it made it any easier?
It's gonna be cold in Cleveland.
Well, at least he's gonna have some really good receivers other than Wyoming's best.
He's gonna need Jarvis Landry, I'll tell you that much. Josh Gordon. I would add Dez Bryant. You got the cap. Why not go?
They got Corey Coleman too, man.
Corey Coleman's been a fucking bust.
He played well when he wasn't hurt. When he wasn't hurt, he played
Go
okay.
get Dez. Hey, Cleveland, go get Dez. You got the money. Go get him. Who knows where your locker room's at anyways? Like, you have a ragtag bunch. Go get Dez and improve your roster.
Anyways.
I'm going to take the number 2, man. I'm going to go first because I have the wildest predicament for number 2s.
Oh.
Let's hear about Rory's wild number 2.
I've got our.
I've taken a bunch of those.
You thought Donald Trump was bad.
Number 2.
I've been to Russia. That's not true. So I've got the first Effin football podcast trade for the mock draft 2018. I got the New York Giants trading out of the number 2 spot with the Buffalo Bills. It's going to trade. The Buffalo Bills will trade up from 12 to 2, but it's going to take a lot more draft capital to make that happen. So the Bills will send this year's first round pick number 12 overall, as well as this year's first rounder number 22 overall, which they had to make other pre-draft trades to get this sort of multi first round pick ability. I also think they send a second rounder from this year, as well as a 2019 first round draft pick and a 2019 third round draft pick. So that's 5 picks that they send to move up 10 spots.
Damn.
And it's a hell of a lot of capital in terms of the draft. But for a team that's been aching for a quarterback since the Jim Kelly days, literally, they've been needing a quarterback as bad as the Browns. And in my mock draft, I got the Browns taking Josh Allen number 1. So I got the Bills sending the house to go get the best quarterback in the draft. They're going to go draft Sam Darnold at number 2. Well, many people say the best quarterback in the draft. Later, I'll tell you my favorite quarterback.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, but I'm going to have them taking Sam Darnold. Unbelievable that he's available at number 2 in this particular draft. But he is. He's on the board, 6'3", 220 pounds, USC, coming out as a junior, 20 years old. Career completion percentage in college, 64.9%, 57 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. Last year, in comparison to Josh Allen's 6.7 yards an attempt, he threw for 8.5 yards an attempt. This guy is a quarterback. He's played in big games, big moments. He's had to carry the team on his back. This guy can do it in a real system. He doesn't have Josh Allen's Jamarcus Russell arm. But he has, he's Andrew Luck. He's a poor man's Andrew Luck is the way I look at this guy. He's not the once-in-a-generation quarterback, but this guy is a 14-year starter in the NFL, and any team that gets him in my draft, it's the Bills trading everything to get him. And I think it's a smart move. If it took more picks, I still think it's a smart move. If you can solve that last year, Buffalo was a surprise playoff team, not a contender team. They made the playoffs over your guys' favorite team in a tiebreaker.
The skin of their fucking teeth.
Give them a real quarterback on top of that. Do you need those other draft picks? How many of those draft picks land on average anyways? Go get that guy, and I think that you're changing the future direction of your franchise. That's my hot take. Let's go.
All right. At number 2, I have another trade. I have the Broncos trading up to the 2 spot to select Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is John Elway's kind of guy. He fits the profile of quarterbacks that we've drafted in the past with Paxton Lynch and Brock Osweiler. Just his big.
What do you mean, not good?
Not good. Yeah, that kind of is what I mean.
He's on
Contribute. I like
theme going on. It's all coming together, guys.
Yeah, they've got big frames, big arms. Thin Denver air can throw the ball about 80 yards.
Boom! That's going to be the first play of the season,
right?
80-yard bomb.
Yeah, play action bomb. I don't think Case Keenum is the answer. I think he's another stopgap guy for Denver. I think it will provide Josh Allen with development time, standing under Case Keenum.
Standing under Case
Keenum. Yeah.
What's he doing? Standing under him?
I don't know.
Is Case Keenum on a ladder to go on top of him, or is it like a ladder? Or?
It's a new thing. You wouldn't know about it.
It's a Knicks T9. Sorry.
So I think he will have some development time, but at the same time, the Broncos haven't showed any signs of developing quarterbacks. Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, they're all failures. That might be just because they're bad, or maybe the Broncos just have a tough time developing those guys. But that's what I feel happens. I think that they need a quarterback. Keenum's not the long-term guy, and they just take a swing with Josh Allen.
Okay.
And they're going to send a second-round 2018 pick, third-round 2018 pick, and 2019 first-round pick. I think that would sweeten the deal.
Yeah. Plus this year's first rounder.
Plus they switched the spots.
Yeah, switch spots. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's to move up
from 5 to 2.
Seems like fair capital.
Yeah.
So I hear you guys too. I'm there with the trade. I got the trade happening too.
We all had the hot take for Jack.
Yeah, hot take. All right, we got a trade.
Okay,
the number
this
2
guy
pick.
has got the hottest takes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go. Another New York team is gonna trade up again. The Jets are gonna get scared because they know they're gonna get phone calls from guys like the Broncos, and there's gonna be guys like the Bills. They're gonna be calling the Giants, thinking about that pick. And if Darnold falls, they're going to give up another first-round draft pick, and they're going to move up, and they're going to get Sam Darnold. That's going to be their guy. That's going to be the New York franchise for the next 10 years. They're super stoked about this. They're ready to move forward. They're tired of not having a quarterback on that offense. And, yeah, they can finally build a future around a star NFL player. And, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm just going to say that it's going to be a great move by the Giants, too. They're going to be able to score an extra first-round pick, and they're going to still get the guy they want, too, because, they're looking at certain guys. I'll tell you in a minute who they're going to get, but they're happy. This is going to be a win-win situation. And, yeah, Sam Darnold, number 2 to the New York Jets.
Yeah, hey, so they're scared. Like, I thought about the same sort of scenario where the Jets get so scared.
Oh, they're going to be so scared.
That they trade into the number 2 slot.
Sam Darnold falls.
With the Giants.
When he falls.
And for me, I highly debated what are the Giants going to do with this pick. I just don't. I think they're in reload mode. They need to accumulate multiple draft picks. You're sticking with Eli apparently. You have so many holes on your team that regardless of if you're sticking with Eli, it's not time to take a quarterback because you don't have the offensive line, you don't have a running back, you have Odell Beckham who may or may not be there. Who knows going forward? What do you have on offense? You have almost nothing.
I think if they can trade down and get a number 1 draft pick for next year, if they suck again this year, they'll have a number 1 pick and then another high pick. And so they're going to be ready to be reloaded.
Could be number 1 overall for the best
quarterback. Yeah, and they're also going to add a piece this year that's going to help that quarterback pick for next year. I think they're just going to be solid for the future.
I think it's a very smart move if the Giants trade down to any team. I mean, obviously some deals will be better than others, but
people always overpay for quarterbacks. They always give up their franchise essentially. and you can pretty much steal somebody's.
I think it's funny that all three of us came up with the same justification for our trade. Like it
makes sense.
It makes the most sense for that franchise at this time. And as much as you want to have like a quarterback right here, like I was like, why? How much would Buffalo have to trade to get Sam Darnold away from the Giants? And it's a lot, you know. I said you'll send them this year's 2 first-round picks this year, next year's this year's second rounder, and next year's first and third. And I crossed out next year's first and second and put third, but it might take next year's first, second, and third to get this done. Like
And OJ's OJ's game worn jersey.
yeah, one of if you can get you know
You gotta get the
if anybody collected the ashes.
All right.
By the way, the Effin football podcast
All facts, no
policy on O.J. Simpson is fuck O.J. Simpson. That's our Effin stance on that.
It was Cato. Cato Kalin was the accomplice.
Cato Kalin was the accomplice. Come on.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson is
arrest Cato
responsible for the
Kalin.
Kardashians.
Think
Do
about it.
remember that.
Think
Every time you have to hear about a Kardashian,
Think about it.
O.J.
Think
Simpson's fault.
about it.
All facts, no whack.
All facts and whack. That's how you know you're watching the Effin football podcast.
Right on.
Right on.
Right on.
All
So,
facts, no crack.
Who do you guys have going number 3?
You know, I think Welty should kick it off.
Well, yeah, since I had the Giants trading down, they're taking Saquon Barkley. They're going to establish a running game for Eli.
Saquon, who's that? I haven't done any research on this Saquon.
You guys haven't heard of Saquon?
I know a guy named Saquon.
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon.
Their guy's going to have a solid running game. Dude, I mean, you could still squeeze the last little bit at Eli. You can establish a future running game for your next quarterback that comes in. It's only going to help Odell Beckham's game because he's going to be open because the safeties are going to respect the run. And yeah, he's safe. You know that guy's a beast. I think it's really going to make that team overall in offense a lot more dynamic. They can do screens out of the backfield. They can run inside. They can run outside with that guy. He's a game changer. And if they can trade down and get that guy, it's going to be a big move for the New York Giants. Everyone's going to be celebrating. New York's going to be going all crazy. So that's my pick, number 3 overall pick. It's going to be Saquon Barkley to the New York Giants.
Oof. All right.
Interesting.
According to how your draft is going, I think it's the perfect pick for the Giants. Saquon Barkley at 3, like game changer. I'm sure the Giants really want him. In my draft, they trade all the way down to 12, and spoiler alert, Saquon Barkley doesn't make it that far. But
Highly doubtful.
But who I got at 3 after Cleveland takes Josh Allen and Buffalo takes Sam Darnold. I got the New York Jets holding place and taking the pick. And no epic trade here, but you know what's epic is the selection of quarterback Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma. This guy is he's going to be Broadway Baker. You know what I'm saying? I've heard of Broadway Joe. The New York Jets have been second place to the Giants in New York since the goddamn 60s, 70s, or whatever. Since Super Bowl fucking 2, Super Bowl 3. Super Bowl 3. The Raiders were in Super Bowl 2. I should know that. Yeah, and you know what? Baker's going to come through. You know, there's a debate. What do you take, Josh Rosen or Baker Mayfield? Apparently, they both have red flags, character concerns. You know, I think you get swaggy. You take this generation's version of Broadway Joe, and I hope that Baker in his first game comes onto the sideline in a fucking full-length mean coat just to say, hey, I'm here in New York. You know what's going on? If you watched the last episode, which I'm sure most of you didn't, I'm a big fan of Baker Mayfield. By far the most accomplished quarterback out of this class in terms of the statistical categories. He completed 70.5% of his passes last year in his Heisman Trophy winning campaign for 4,627 yards, 43 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Oh yeah, he added 5 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown as well. Plus his yards per attempt, 11.5, like dominates any other numbers of these other quarterbacks. Like statistically, he is the most accomplished quarterback in the class, like bar none, no competition. hands down. No holds barred. Steel cage, brother. Sunday, triple level steel cage. Baker Mayfield's coming from the top rope to put the goddamn slam down on you. The smack this, smack that. Fucking Baker Mayfield probably slaps his girlfriend. No,
Oh,
no,
damn. Allegations.
no, he's not Johnny. Like I said, everybody think this guy Johnny Manziel. No, man, he's his own dude. Baker Mayfield also likes to party, but a lot of people also think he's Drew Brees. He's not 5'11". He's 6'1". He's 215 pounds. This guy's an NFL quarterback. He's NFL ready, and he's gonna he's gonna fire up this New York Jets fan base and franchise. And I think it's a franchise changing move right there.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna effing say it.
All right.
What do you guys think?
I like it. I like Baker Mayfield. It'd be fun to see him on the Jets. We want to see another Broadway Joe.
Fucking A, like
That's a big swing.
they need him.
Yeah, it's also going to be really helpful for the team.
At number 3, I have the Jets taking Josh Rosen. There's only one reason they made the trade up with the Colts is to get in the quarterback mix. Josh Rosen is the next best quarterback available. I think it's problematic for Rosen. This is probably the worst team he could have gone to. They're pretty average on offense. They don't have a lot of pieces around him. They're going to have to develop and draft more pieces to help him out. But he does have Josh McCown and Teddy Bridgewater in at quarterback as well. So there should be time for him to develop as well. I think that's a theme with the first 2 picks. The first 3 picks. A lot of them have quarterbacks in place ready to play, so the rookies don't have to come in and be the savior right away. So I do think that is a good infrastructure for him. And I do think that he does have the personality to handle New York. New York is the media capital of the world. Everything's scrutinized. He will be scrutinized, but I feel like he has the confidence and personality to handle that and make the best out of being a Jet.
Cool. Okay.
Make the best out of being a Jet.
Play like a Jet.
That's how you are, Jet. You make the best of it.
I do like Todd Bowles. I do like what they did last year.
Just make the best of it, okay?
I think Todd Bowles
deal with it.
He had no talent last year, and they got 5 wins out of that team. That's pretty impressive.
But you like Ted's Bowles?
Ted's Bowles.
Hey, Ted's Bowles.
Ted's Bowles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huge.
So we done with the 3rd round? Everyone's got their picks in?
Yeah.
You didn't say yours?
Yeah, you didn't say yours.
Yeah, I did. Saquon Barkley. Saquon, number 3.
Oh, yeah, the Giants trade down.
Where you guys been?
All right.
I'm very sorry.
Well,
because you got high, Dolla. Sorry. What happened?
This beer has
Wait, do you guys do weed?
What?
This podcast isn't brought to you by weed. It's brought to you by Fresh Coors Light. The
Ballast Point.
It's not a sponsor.
I poured Coors Light in the bottle.
Oh, that's cool. That's correct. Coors Light, Taste of the Rockies. And this is going to be my first Coors Light appointed bathroom break. And these guys are going to jump into their number 4 selections in this year's mock draft. But remember, anytime you're watching an Effin football podcast, enjoy a nice Coors Light.
All right, get here. So this is what I got going on for the number 4 pick. It's held by the Cleveland Browns. The first pick, I had them getting Josh Allen. So they got their quarterback locked up.
All right.
And so you're thinking maybe Bradley Chubb. That seems like an obvious one. Maybe Quentin Nelson. I think they're going to trade down. I think they're going to do another Brownsy-like thing, and they're going to trade down. They're going to acquire some picks. It's either going to be Buffalo or Denver, but I'm going Denver. I think Denver's going to go up, and they're going to get Josh Rosen. That's their move. They're going to get him for number 4. They're not going to have to give up everything. It's not like they're going to have to move up to number 2 like the Jets did. I'm sure it'll be another 1st and 2nd, but, it's not going to be the entire draft you have to give up.
Okay.
He's going to fit good with Denver. I think that's a great spot for him to go. It's not too big city. He's going to have, some good talent around him, good receivers. But yeah, I think that's his spot. I can't see him falling any farther than that. That's the lowest Josh Rosen's gonna go. What do you think? What do you got at number 4?
I think with the way your draft is going, that's a pretty sound strategy. But with mine, I had the Browns taking Sam Darnold number 1, so they have their quarterback in place, and at number 4, they just have to take the best player available, which in my mind is Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, I like Bradley Chubb.
He's a relentless pass rusher. He has size and speed. He profiles close to Joey Bosa. He put up similar numbers in the combine.
It would be cool to see him and Myles Garrett together. That would be fun to watch.
He's going to get paired up with Myles Garrett. They're going to make a crazy, talented, young beast D-line in the NFL. It's going to make everyone else on their defense better, having that D-line just freakish athletic. So they're going to have their quarterback, and they're going to have another stud defensive lineman. I think that's the best strategy that the Browns could take. You take the best player. It's not necessarily a team fit. It's more of best player available.
Boom. Bang. Bingo, bango. Everybody loves a little Chubb, right?
Hey.
Who did you pick, Welty?
I had Bazing a trade. So I had Denver going up, and they're trading with Cleveland, and they're going to take Josh Rosen. That's what I went for. And then I think the Browns are just going to move down a spot and probably pick up a first or second for next year.
Denver's going to block a trade from another team.
Yeah, I think the Bills might be trying to get up there. And like I said, you had them packaging pretty much the whole franchise. I think they wait a little while and try to trade a little bit later, see if they get their guy. But I think if the Broncos have their guy fall to 4 and they feel like they might lose him, they'll make a move to get their franchise quarterback. They've been looking for somebody since Peyton left.
So Welty, this is why you got to understand my Bills move, because you can't just wait to trade with the Browns at 4 because somebody else can easily do it. You trade into that 2 slot and you get your guy, especially if Josh Allen goes 1. You take the guy the guy that everybody's throwing their hat in the ring to say, hey, Sam Darnold's going to be the man. So
hey man, I want to drive a Maserati too, but I can't afford that shit. All right, so they have to wait a little while.
That's why he drives.
I'm going to save up some cash, and I'll be there one day.
That's why he drives a Mazda.
You drive a fucking Mazda too. I drive a newer Mazda than
I was
you,
trying to think of a rhyme that would be like Mazda Audi, Mazda or Audi instead of a Maserati. I don't know.
You guys drive stick?
No, man.
I used to, but now it's just, I want to play it safe.
You converted?
This guy rides stick. This guy rides stick. He rides stick. Okay, so that's very interesting, Welty.
So what do you got? What's your analysis?
In the original version of this mock draft I was preparing, I had the Broncos trading into the number 4 spot to block other trades from happening. But I thought about it for a little while, and I thought about how little success John Elway has had drafting quarterbacks recently, and his signing of Case Keenum, and how poorly he is of an evaluator of quarterbacks, apparently. I think that he's all down for Case Keenum, and I think he's the man. And I don't think they draft a quarterback this year. I don't think it's going to happen. But they're a scary team there at 5. If you want a quarterback, you got to jump in front of the Broncos. So I have the Arizona Cardinals. Trade number 2 out of my mock.
What? All the way from 15?
It's not unprecedented.
Who's got all this money? Who's got all this money where all these guys are trading up to the top of the draft?
So flashback to 2016, Tyler Welty. It's before the draft happened, quite some time, because we already knew who the number 1 overall pick was going to be leading into that. We all remember this.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Just for our fans, so they know.
Jared Goff. You remember how the Rams got there and where they came from? Do you recall?
Started from the bottom and now they're there?
Now they're there. Yeah, they had a great team last year. The Rams looked great under Sean McVay. Jared Goff is the motherfucking man. Under Jeff Fisher, he's a scrub, but also a rookie. We'll see.
The coach makes a difference.
Totally. So the Rams were at 15 in the first round.
Yeah.
They had more of a Bill scenario where they had they didn't have 2 first rounders, but they had 2 second rounders. So here's what the Rams sent to the Titans to get to number 1 overall. In 2016, they sent a first round draft pick for 2016, which was 15 overall. They sent 2 second rounders in 2016, 1 third rounder, and then for the next draft, for the 2017 draft, they sent a first and a third. In exchange, the Titans gave them the first overall pick, which was Jared Goff. They also sent a 4th round and 6th round pick in the 2016 draft back to him.
Dang.
So it was a huge trade. This is what I have the Cardinals hypothetically trading into this position and how they make. And they have an aggressive front office, and this is why I believe the Arizona Cardinals will make this move because their front office is aggressive. And I've got them moving this year's first, second, and third round picks to trade into the slot. This year's first is number 12 overall. Am I right?
No, they're at
I believe
number
they're 15.
Or yeah, 15. My bad.
Yeah, they got a ways to go.
I already
man.
said
They got to
it.
climb a mountain.
I was getting confused by some of my notes here. Yeah, they're sending the number 15 overall pick this year to get down to 4. They're also sending this year's second and this year's third, as well as next year's first, next year's third, and next year's 5th.
All right.
Okay.
That's pretty interesting.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
They're sending a huge load.
Yeah.
They're sending a huge load.
I like it.
I hope
that happened because I love seeing draft day trades.
It's exciting.
If you
It's the best. It's the best.
If you love a player and you evaluate them and you think that is your guy, then you should just go all in. Go for it.
Yeah.
Because quarterback can change a franchise.
So, yeah, I think they'd make this big move to trade up and draft Josh Rosen, the last available top quarterback from the board. And the way this year's draft quarterbacks are, like, out of this mix, who's going to be a star, who's going to be a stud, who's going to be a dud. Like, we don't know, man. Josh Rosen might turn out to be the best quarterback of the bunch. They say he's the most pro-ready. During his college career, he completed 60.9% of his passes, threw 59 touchdowns to 26 picks. Last year, he had 8.3 yards per attempt. People they hated on the fuck Trump hat or whatever. He's got political things. Some people say it's Jay Cutler-ish. On the other end, it kind of reminds me of the swagginess of an Aaron Rodgers type. You know what I mean? So really depends. At the end of the day, for all these guys, their performance on the field is what's going to speak the loudest. And he's had good performance on the field.
The Cardinals gotta love that guy. They gotta love Rosen. Like that better be like their number one guy on the board. They see him drop and they're like, let's pull the trigger on this.
No,
that's the way this works.
They gotta love being pertinent or to matter in the NFL. Because there could be a draft class or two before we have another star. You know what I mean? That happens. There's not always a first round pick. Remember the
we don't know Rosen's a star though. Nobody knows this. Now you're assuming that's going to happen.
This is the most highly touted quarterback draft class in quite some time, and some people have Josh Rosen as number 1 out of the 4.
And that's what I'm saying. If the Cardinals better have him on number 1,
if they evaluate him as number 1,
then they'll do that.
This trade makes sense.
Daniel Jeremiah, NFL.com, former scout, one of the most informed people that I read articles on. He has Darnold 1, Rosen 2, and a lot of people have. I've read scouts' reviews that Josh Rosen is number 1 on their board. So there's a fair chance, if they love him, what the Cardinals should love is a quarterback. And I'm saying they love Rosen here. They didn't want Baker Mayfield. They didn't want Josh Allen. They get the second best quarterback in the draft.
It's all pre-draft lies. They're just hyping up a guy so the guy they want will fall to them.
I think they get the second
classic draft move.
They get the second best quarterback in the draft on their board.
All right.
Because they can't get.
All right. We got you.
I like
that's the logic.
It's interesting.
What do you think, Dolla?
It's very interesting. Move on to the 5th pick.
You remember number 5? So I have the Browns at number 5. I had them trading down.
Okay.
And I think they're going to get the Bradley Chubb in that pick. I think that's going to be for all the reasons you laid down. They could be a winner. If they really have a decent run game, if they got these receivers catching footballs, and they got Myles Garrett and Bradley Chubb, resting the passer, that would be a great combo. I mean, it'd be fun to watch this team. They'd be loaded with talent. And I think these guys are ballers. Honestly, the moves they've made, I think, are really going to help them. And I think Bradley Chubb can help their defense immensely. And if they can get him at number 5 while trading down and getting their quarterback while also having Tyrod Taylor there just to get things set up, it's going to be the new Cleveland Browns. It's not going to be your grandma's Cleveland Browns anymore.
But you have Josh Allen as their quarterback.
Josh Allen. Well, you don't like Josh Allen. I think he's going to be all right. And they got Tyrod Taylor. And I really like Tyrod Taylor.
He likes Josh Allen. I like Tyrod Taylor. You were talking trash about Tyler. I'll do my number 5 next just because it's the same player, different team. I got the Broncos staying pat at number 5. A lot of people think that this pick is getting traded. I just think all the trades happened before this pick. In my opinion.
So do I. I think they're all.
So I got Denver standing pat. You know, there's a lot of different directions you can go here. I already believe John Elway's not drafting a quarterback. And I struggled between whether or not, you helped the offensive line out or, when the Broncos most recently were super successful in hoisting a Lombardi trophy. It was when they had Von Miller with
Malik Jackson.
DeMarcus Ware
on the other side. So
Marcus
I think
Cousins?
That'd be interesting. Oh man, because that guy, he's defensive end for sure. He's not playing linebacker.
Throw him out at tight end.
Roll,
jump ball,
boogie. I think the Broncos take Bradley Chubb here, the defensive end from North Carolina State. 6'4", 269 pounds. This guy is a beast. I think if you either put him in front of Von Miller or opposite on the other side, preferably, you start to wreak havoc to where the quarterback doesn't have.
So wait, you want him in front of Von Miller or on the other side of Von Miller?
Or directly behind him.
Or I thought if he was in front and then he was on the other side,
you could throw him in the secondary.
You running power eye?
Yeah.
Power eye.
Power eye formation, guys.
Nice.
The guy had in 3 years at North Carolina, he had State. He had 25 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, a pick, 54.5 tackles for loss.
Beast.
Which is what you want to look at, man. This guy.
That guy's a playmaker.
He is a beast mode. And I think John Elway makes the right call this time. Goes with a high-level impact position player. And doesn't look like a dumbass for once.
We all like Bradley Chubb, right? Everybody
it's impossible for him to not.
Everybody here loves the Chubb.
He's got a fucking horse face. There cannot be a better guy to be the quarterback and GM of the Broncos than fucking John Elway.
We're all loving the Chubb here, so.
Fuck you, John Elway.
So for my number 5 pick, I had the Broncos trading up to the number 2 spot with the Giants. So this is the Giants pick. I have them taking Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame.
Saquon Barkley's still on the board?
Saquon is still on the board.
All right. He's falling, guys. This
guy's falling. Fell in my draft, too.
I keep on falling.
The Giants the Giants, like you guys alluded to, the Giants are in rebuilding mode. This guy is a fucking beast. Like, watch his tape. It's rare that a guard is the best lineman in the draft. It's usually a tackle, but this guy is different. He's huge. He's 6'5", 330, super long arms. He plays with a nasty streak. He likes to dominate people. And
he plays with a nasty streak, what, like in his underwears?
Yeah, while he dominates people.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? Grizzly Bears, when they fight, they usually shit.
You know, they used to call me Grizzly Adams.
Yeah.
Grizzly Adams had a beard.
This guy's a beast. This guy is a beast at the guard position. They picked up Nate Solder in the offseason. They might even they might try him at tackle. Right tackle.
I wouldn't do that.
Possibly.
Mistake.
Let him dominate.
It might be, but
just put him with Solder, have a nice running game behind those guys, let them lead the way.
That would be the best thing. They put him on the interior. He's going to dominate most guys he goes up against. This is a very solid pick for the Giants, and I think that it's a good step for their rebuilding direction.
I love the draft, guys. You just watch your teams like turn into what they are, and all these
man.
theories and all
We
these
all-
strategies, and it's just like you see it all happen live.
It's the last
10 minutes at a time. The NFL is created.
It's our last taste of real football
Oh, yeah.
until the fucking. This is the
This is
drought
it.
after this. Like it's the fucking
It's the
drought.
future.
And it's the worst, and it's the future, and it's the best. And Quentin Nelson, by all regards, by all analysis, by all scouts, seems to be a future Hall of Famer. Is what everybody talks about him
He's
like.
a mauler.
Yeah, I just wish I was old enough back in the day when the Raiders selected Robert Gallery, #2 overall out of Michigan, over Larry Fitzgerald.
I think you were. You were old enough.
Yeah, I was old enough.
Yeah,
You're
I
older than
remember
me.
that.
Well, we were in high school. We weren't doing this sort
Aren't
of
you 40?
analysis. 400. We still hyphy. Nah, man. Like all I'm saying is like I wasn't watching tape on college prospects back then. I was in high school. I was like a fucking freshman, which means you guys were like little dust mites. But like Robert Gallery, one of the most highly touted offensive line prospects ever, turns into like one of the biggest busts. But had a long career, played guard at a near Pro Bowl level. But you don't draft #2 for a guard. I think this is where you do draft number
5.
Number 5. Bam, you get the best offensive lineman in the fucking draft, bar none. You have them going to the Giants, who need offensive line help so fucking bad. Like I think it's a match made in heaven if they get this guy, and they fucking need him. I'll tell you that much.
So you like his pick, okay?
Yeah, he bowls. I've seen some tape on. I've seen the highlight reel at least. This guy fucking. It's like a man amongst children. He picks people up, moves them around, runs them over.
All right. Well, why don't you introduce your number 6 pick?
Did you do your 5?
I did my 5. I had Bradley Chubb.
Bradley Chubb.
You guys gotta start paying attention to what
Yeah,
I'm doing over
I had
here.
Bradley Chubb too. I'll blame it on Coors Light. If you need a cool, refreshing beer at any time, it's clear that Coors Light is right here, and it's near and dear to my heart. I'll make that an effing guarantee.
That was okay. That was like a B+.
It's almost like
they script the commercials for me, so
it's almost like you were just ad-libbing.
it's almost like I was ad-libbing for Coors Light. So number 6, I'll kick it off because it makes a lot of sense. Because at number 6, I have Indianapolis staying pat, making the pick, and I got him taking Quentin Nelson out of Notre Dame. The guy was a 2017 All-American, 6'5", 329. What can you say about the dude that I didn't already just say? So I'll pass it on to you guys.
No, I got the same thing. I'm just gonna get this over with. I mean, I don't know how sexy we can get into as an offensive guard going into the draft, but he's the sexiest offensive guard you're ever gonna see play.
Well,
He's gonna lead your running game. He's gonna be a solid anchor.
how does he help the Colts?
Because he had Andrew Luck, who falls apart all the time.
I was talking about how he helped the Giants. You talk about how he's going to help the Colts.
There it
He
is.
traded out.
You have a quarterback that gets hurt all the time and has a terrible shoulder that the franchise depends on. You put an anchor in front of them where people can't get past it. I think that's a long-term investment for your other long-term investment, and it's going to be a good move overall. If you're going to have a top quarterback and he's not protected, you might as well just assume you have a second stringer because that's who's going to be playing.
Yeah.
After your guys take so many falls and hits and doesn't slide, that's your life. So.
I struggled not going Saquon Barkley here because I still have him live on my board.
These guys got high before this. Saquon Barkley is a fucking beast.
This is what I wanted to ask. Like, if Saquon Barkley is not available on your board, but if he was and you had Quentin Nelson, who would you take here at 6 for the Colts?
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, I struggled with this one.
I mean,
pretty bad.
I love Saquon Barkley. I think the guy's going to be a game changer. I think he's going to have a huge impact on any offense he goes to right away. And I know they devalue the running backs, but that's because sometimes these first-round guys don't pan out and third-round guys do. But I just feel like this guy is going to pan out like Adrian Peterson, Ezekiel Elliott style. Like, he's such a beast, like catching the football, like inside. He's quick, he's fast, he's strong. He runs people over and he makes people miss. Like, I don't know what else you want the guy to do.
I don't know. I heard he's high.
Well, if he was high, he's the
High on
best.
our list.
He's high on my list. He's high on my
Bam,
list.
bam, bam. All right.
But you know what? Yeah, I'll
like
probably
the
go Saquon Barkley. I don't
Yeah.
have him going past number 3. I think that's where he's going because he's going to
Okay.
change the entire offense.
I just went Quentin Nelson because they seem to be committed to Andrew Luck by trading down out of top quarterback range. Means he's coming back. Protect this guy because they've neglected the offensive line for so fucking goddamn long. Like, that's why this guy's fucked up in the first place. Plus, he needs to change his play style a little bit. You're not at Stanford anymore playing in the Pac-12. Protect yourself, RG3. I mean, Andrew Luck. Same draft class. Look who's shining from that draft class, Russell Wilson. Be smart. Use your head, kids.
All
Ty
right.
Dolla $ign.
I think in a world where none of the trades happen, it would be very smart for the Colts to take Nelson. But I have Nelson already gone. I think this is a very interesting pick for the Colts. I have them taking Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker from Virginia Tech. This guy is really a one-of-a-kind player. He's 6'5", 230. He can pass rush. He can play drop coverage linebacker.
Yeah, we have extra one.
He's got super fluid athletic ability. He's very versatile. He can play in really most positions at linebacker or pass rusher. Very versatile. And he's young. He's only 20 years old. He's a super raw player with a lot of talent and very physically gifted. I feel like he's a high variance player, but I think the Colts take this guy and just plug him in anywhere.
I love Tremaine Edmonds, and I hate Tremaine Edmonds at the same time. You know, it reminds me of a couple linebackers in the past. Specifically, that guy who went Golston, Vernon Golston.
Vernon Golston, yeah.
You know, guys like that, dude, where it's like, here, I don't got him going yet, but I got some stats on him. And Tremaine Edmonds, and I thought they were like unimpressive until I looked at Roquan Smith's stats for the future. 6'5", 253. The thing he's got going for him is he's 19 years old. But the thing he doesn't have going for him is he's 19 years old and is about to make millions of dollars by signing a piece of paper. So
He's not going to play football too?
he's 33 tackles for loss in his career, 10 sacks, 3 forced fumbles as a junior. He ran a 4.54 40, put up 19 reps on the bench press. His father, Pharrell Edmonds, was a 2-time Pro Bowler as a tight end for the Miami Dolphins back in the day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So he's naturally gifted. It's in his bloodline. With him, I watched, when I say I watched tape, it's not on a scout's level. We do as much, research and watching tape as we can. When you watch the highlight reel, he does a great job of getting to the ball, but he also over pursues on run plays. He either jets there to the hole before the play develops, or he doesn't see it whatsoever. At 19, that can be corrected, but is he going to give the coaches the opportunity to correct him when he's a multimillionaire? It's that type of I feel like this guy's a stick of dynamite. If you throw it and it fucking, and it lands where you need it to and blows up the whole thing, that's great. But if you hold it in your hand, that's terrible. You know what I'm saying? He's a boomer bust.
Definitely.
He is the definition of boomer bust. So if they get the best out of this guy, all pro quality, they get the worst out of him. You're looking at a Vernon Golston. Can he play special teams? Is he Deion Jordan? Is he Deion Jordan trying to resurrect his career? Is he doing weed? Who even knows? He's 19 years
very
old.
Tantalizing prospect.
Very tantalizing. That was a great way to put it.
Yes.
I think with this guy, it's going to all break down to character. And who knows?
Scheme fit.
Scheme fit.
How they best utilize his many skills.
He's one of those guys who got the raw skills that makes these GMs' mouths water. Huge water. At the same time, one of the biggest risks out there.
It's a very interesting pick. It's a very interesting slot for the Colts. They could go in many different ways.
So many different directions based on their team needs. They could go corner here. They could go linebacker. they were wishing Quinn Nelson would have fell to them.
Yes.
That's what they really wanted in your draft.
It may happen, but not in my draft.
Yeah, I think the Broncos and the Colts are the most interesting to see what they're going to do because that's really going to shape the rest of the draft considerably. But so what do we got? Number 7 now?
Number 7.
All right, I'm taking over number 7.
All right.
Got Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafting in the number 7 spot. I have the trade happening. I have the Buffalo. Wait, no, it's not Buffalo. It's the Miami Dolphins moving up. Miami Dolphins are going to go from 11 to number 7. They're going to get Baker Mayfield at number 7. It's going to be one of the last top quarterbacks left. I think they're ready to move on from Ryan Tannehill. They tried the best.
It's a failed experiment.
They were as patient as they could be with that guy.
I was going to call it an
They
experiment.
tried as long as they could to make it work.
I'll tell you this much. I think that they should keep him on the roster and move him back to wide receiver.
It's over, Ryan Tannehill. Your day is over.
Because he used to play wide receiver in college.
I don't think it would hurt.
I don't know.
It would hurt to do that.
Put the guy in the slot, plus make him play wide receiver.
Put a few pounds on him.
No, Baker Mayfield's got talent. It's time for Miami to rebuild. They're clearly just selling
I like that
house,
move.
and they're ready to rebuild. And I'm a little worried about Baker Mayfield being in Miami Beach. But hey, you know what? He could flourish.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Why? You just did. Why would Miami feel the need to trade up at this point? Like
But
what
Buffalo
team?
Bills, there's a lot of guys that are going to be making phone calls to all the rest of the guys because there's quarterbacks left on the board.
You think they're going to block a trade?
I think the Raiders would move down if the Bills wanted to trade up. What is that?
Yeah, I think these guys. I think there's a few
2
defense.
slots.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what are we looking at after that pick? We got the Bears, you got 49ers, and you got the Raiders. I'm pretty
None
sure.
of them need a quarterback, and they can all trade up.
Exactly, and so I think
Yeah.
that you want to be able to be
Baker's still on the field.
you want to get ahead of the game right there, and you want to move up.
Good question.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I said there's 4 defensive guys I really like that any of those teams would love to have, but if they could trade down and still get them, I think they'd be excited about that. I think that'd be a good move. So I think the Bills are going to wait patient. Unfortunately, I would like them to see them move up, but
So you think they would just make that deal just in case the Bills want to make a deal?
yeah, totally. That's what half these
It's a
trades are.
block deal.
Well, all these trades are is because they're scared another team's going to move up. That's
Gotcha.
why I have the Jets moving up to number 2 is because
From 3 to 2, like seems stupid. The Bears did the same thing last year to get Mitch Trubisky.
exactly.
It's literally just to block other teams from jumping.
Yeah,
into
you're
that
scared
spot.
someone else is going to trade into the spot that you have to get the player you want. So they're going to move up. They're going to get their quarterback. I'm sure they're going to give up probably 2 seconds and a third to get there. And then, yeah, that's going to be their pick. Go with Baker Mayfield. At the very least, he's going to sell some tickets. I don't know who else you root for on the Miami Dolphins right now. I don't know who gets you excited to go to a game. Maybe Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
does
you know,
that.
like
Richie Incognito.
either Jarvis Landry or Ndamukong Suh or
Oh, they're all gone.
Pouncey's gone.
Oh, man.
that one running back, he was pretty good with the Bears.
Ajayi?
Jay Ajayi.
Oh, no.
What happened to your team, guys? I don't know. You guys are fucking idiots.
But you're not idiots because you're getting Baker Mayfield, and time will tell that you got the best pick in the draft.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
and that's
Miami
why Baker
Dolphins.
already went several picks ago, number 3 to the New York Jets. So you just kicked off 7. I'm gonna kick off 7. I know me and Ty. I can see his notes. Me and Ty Dolla got the same guy here. It's unbelievable that this guy's available at 7. But I'll tell you why he is.
It's a quarterback-heavy draft class.
2 reasons. Number 1,
The fat quarterback.
as Dolla said, it's a quarterback-heavy draft class. Number 2, it is an extremely deep running back class this year. You know, so all I've heard, all I've read, running backs galore. There's going to be first rounders dropping into the 2nd and 3rd. Rashad Penny out of San Diego State is an amazing running back. And a lot of other drafts, he could be talked about as a potential first-round talent. That guy might drop to the 3rd round. You know, you're stealing first-round running backs at this point. So it's amazing, but I'm not surprised that Saquon Barkley falls to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 7 in my mock draft after I have, what's the rundown? I got Josh Allen, to the Browns, Sam Darnold to the Bills via trade, Baker Mayfield to the Jets, Josh Rosen to the Cardinals via trade, Bradley Chubb to Denver, Quentin Nelson to Indianapolis, and then Tampa Bay lucks out with, I can see these other moves justifying how this running back makes it down there, but this guy is a fucking beast. At 6 foot, 233 pounds, he ran a legitimate 4.40, did 29 reps on the bench press. Those are offensive lineman numbers.
Yeah.
41-inch vert. These are fucking high-level safety vert numbers going up. These are basketball numbers. This guy can dunk on you, bro. You ran for 3,843 yards in his career and 43 touchdowns with a 5.7 tote per carry. Which the only concerning thing is those numbers should be much higher. And the only knock that I've heard on him is like some of this guy's like when you get down into the analytics of the stats, the analytics guys are saying like he's not the best. He's not the best dude out there. There's a lot of guys out there that are better, but when you look at
Teddy sees a robber.
Ted, we got a robber in the house. When you look at the numbers, like, you got to look at the NFL numbers, the potential system. Where's he going to fit in? You got to get in where you fit in. Tampa Bay Buccaneers gives him an excellent offense to operate within. Jameis Winston could use him a tremendous amount. Take a little pressure off precious, famous Jameis, and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a good fit. They made some moves for the offensive line in the offseason. Ty Dolla sign, what do you got at number 7?
You said a lot. I have Saquon Barkley going at 7 as well. In my mind, he's the best running back prospect since Adrian Peterson. And it's fitting because Peterson was picked number 7 by the Vikings in 2007.
And they say, how does a great running back fall that far? How did Adrian Peterson last till 7?
It's victim circumstance.
And you think any of those guys regret not getting Adrian Peterson?
I'm sure they do.
You know who went in front of him? I remember some of them. Jamarcus Russell went number 1 overall. Calvin Johnson went number 2 to the Lions.
Justified.
And there's another great player. There's a couple other great players. Joe Thomas
number 3
went to the Browns.
Wow, the Raiders fucked up.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Franchise changing.
I mean, aside from Saquon Barkley falling in Tampa Bay's lap, they had Doug Martin, who was their featured back. They released him. He's now on the Raiders. They need a premier running back. Saquon Barkley is a legit 3-down back, even though they wouldn't have to use him that way. They're kind of getting away from that in the NFL. They're going to have a complimentary back for him, but he has the ability to do that. He's going to create a lot of easy check down passes for Jameis Winston.
He can catch the ball.
He can catch the ball. He's gonna bail him out a lot in Tampa. I think it's a really good fit.
Ted, what do you think about it? Ted, what do you think about the Bucks getting Saquon Barkley at number 7 with the steal? He loves it.
Barkley.
He said I can't lick it enough. I mean, like it enough.
Am I right?
Am I right? All right, Jerry. All right, so let's go to the number 8 pick. I'll dust it off. Let me dust off the old mock draft here.
All right.
I made my mock draft last September. Unlike these rookies, just made it with all the other extra information. No, man, I've known about these guys for months.
Have you?
I've got the Chicago Bears. I wish I would have looked this up. Remember when we did those drafts?
This guy's been doing research for how long? And he wish he looked this
I wish I would have looked one fact up. Remember when we did that mock draft bet game?
Yes.
Watching the draft. Who did the Bears take? That outside pass rusher?
Floyd. What's his name?
Leonard Floyd. This is a very Leonard Floyd style pick.
Oh, man.
I've got the Bears taking Tremaine Edmonds, who I view as all the potential in the world, some production. Who knows where it goes from here? Okay, the team's got a number of holes, but the way the scouts. How do you feel about that, Welty?
Oh, I think they have a number of holes as well, and I think they need to be filled.
Which hole would you prefer to fill yourself personally?
Oh, I mean,
Backside.
the backside defense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the secondary. That's what you're saying.
yeah, I mean,
Secondary
I would
holes.
prefer to fill the tight end,
So,
but the secondary is not a bad
It's all
option.
about team needs.
so like you're a backup bitch then. Is that what you're saying?
Whatever the team needs, man.
All right, for sure. Oh, so you're getting gang bangs.
Whoa. I was talking about football.
Yeah, me too. The whole gang gets together. We bang out some reps.
They also
you gotta
lift
practice,
weights.
practice, baby.
Do some
Practice.
PRs.
How do you think we get these stud bodies out here practicing? Well, the fuck, I'm not Allen Iverson. All right, we got Tremaine Edmonds going to the Chicago Bears, and I like the guy. I like the prospect. It's boom or bust. I think the Bears go with one of the most talented, physically talented players on the board. And I think that's the direction they go. Take pass rusher. And if this guy, his ceiling is all pro. His ceiling is all pro Hall of Fame, and his floor is washout within 3 years. And I think they're the team that takes this lottery ticket right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I have the same thing happening. That's
after all the tough talk,
I gotta poke a little fun right here.
you're gonna give me a
honestly,
hard time after this.
The Bears, and I'm also gonna make fun of your picks. Anyways, yeah, the Bears they miss having those great linebackers. We remember who was the Brian Urlacher days. That was always fun to watch. That solid defense, and I think they want to bring that again. They want to be able
Would
to,
they want to bring the solid D?
they want to bring a rock solid D to Soldier Field. But yeah, it's time for them to help out, that defense be solid and be a good unit again. When was the last time you were, scared of watching the Bears and going against them? It's been a long time, and they used to be top in the league. Seems like every year, top five.
I'll tell you this much: every time I'm in the forest and I see bears, I'm fucking terrified.
Of their D?
Bears?
Are you not?
Yeah,
You're scared of their D?
No, if I see, yeah, if they have their D out, I'm even scareder.
Well,
Every time I see bears, I'm fucking terrified. So
only thing that Tremont Edwards is going to do is going to make that D just stronger and just more physical.
and
So-
longer and harder.
and faster as well. It's just going to be a longer, harder, faster D that's going to be
Come on,
hitting that off.
Welty.
Tremont Edwards to the Chicago Bears, the number 8 pick in the
I think it's
2018
pronounced
draft.
Tremaine.
Tremaine.
Out of Virginia Tech.
Tremont?
BT.
Tremaine?
Your boy, he's 19.
Tremont.
He's very young.
Come on.
Tremont.
God,
man.
come on, yeah. What do you got, Dolla?
At number 8,
Dolla.
I have the Bears taking Denzel Ward, the cornerback out of Ohio State.
Denzel?
Denzel.
Denzel?
Preacher's wife?
He's
Denzel?
he's seen as the top cornerback in this draft class. The Bears already re-signed their starting cornerbacks in Prince Amukamara and Kyle Fuller, but Ward can come in on day one and use his special athleticism to make a difference as a versatile nickel cornerback. Got a little makeout session.
This is our effing mascot,
Teddy.
Teddy. I've heard of blowjob Betty, but side lick Teddy.
I think, it's not necessarily a team need for the Bears, but I think Denzel Ward is a special kind of athlete at cornerback. And teams nowadays are using nickel cornerbacks more than ever. The more you can cover a slot receiver, cover the middle of the field, the better. It's a very valuable position. And I think that he can come in right away, hit the ground running, and start as their nickel cornerback.
Yeah, and considering the moves they made in the offseason to upgrade the secondary, they re-signed Prince Akamoku,
Muka, nobody knows anymore.
but not going to work here anymore. Amukamura, Prince Amukamura, who played there last year, I believe.
Yes.
Former many team player, used to be a great Panther. And they brought back Kyle Fuller, who was signed to an offer sheet by who? I think it was the New England Patriots. Tried to jack Kyle Fuller.
I just said it.
Did you?
Yes.
Sorry, Ted was distracting me.
It's all good.
He's beautiful, but Yeah, man. I like the pick. Denzel Ward, to be honest, I think would be a better move for the Bears than the picks that me and Welty made. But that's the move I think the Bears will make. But
Yeah.
I think the Denzel Ward pick would be a better pick,
Perhaps.
in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very boring pick. I don't really care about the Bears.
Nobody would always
To be honest, they're just a really uninteresting team to me. The slot that they're picking is really uninteresting. So
Everything about it is just we're not interested in.
yeah, I
Can we
don't
just
bel-
move on?
I don't believe
Yeah,
in Mitch
no,
Trubisky
Can we just
at all.
move on?
Yeah,
Mitch Trubisky?
Yeah, let's-
God,
You got another 5 years, Bears.
Can I
before you're
get some
relevant.
biscuits,
5 years,
dog?
and we'll care.
Can I get some gravy and biscuits, sir?
1 year.
5 years from now, I'll take the gravy and biscuits. True
Yeah.
biscuits.
Trubisky.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
All right. The number
That's
9 pick.
nine.
Number 9. San Francisco 49ers are going to have this pick. And I'm going Denzel Ward. I want to see him paired with Richard Sherman. I think that's going to be fun. He's going to help train him up. Richard Sherman and John Lynch, they're going to establish that kind of safety mentality where they're going to have a tough defense. And I think the offense is pretty set up. They could use another wide receiver, maybe Calvin Ridley here. But I think it's time for the defense to step up and be able to prove that they can win games. And I think Denzel Ward is going to be a piece that gets them there.
What is this? Is a setup?
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
man.
see? Listen,
That's
see?
a stick up, Shane.
It's a stick up, see? Johnny 1-2 down by the docks. He told me, see? You listen. I heard it.
Yeah.
It's a setup, see? Yeah, Richard Sherman from the Legion of Boom. He told us.
Yeah, well, John Lynch is going to lynch him a award, and he's going to get it.
Whoa. Whoa, that was racist.
Whoa.
I was not racist.
They
It
shouldn't have
All right, what do you guys got? San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I know me and Ty Dolla agree on this one, so I'll let him kick it off. Ty Dolla, what do you think? Number 9 of the San Francisco 49ers. What's going on here?
I have the Niners.
What's your
taking,
effing pick?
My effing pick for the Niners. I have them taking Roquan Smith, linebacker out of Georgia.
I never would have guessed that.
No?
I just don't see it happening.
Him and I have the same pick. To me, Roquan Smith is the safest player in this draft class.
Ooh.
I think he's.
Is that a compliment?
It's a huge compliment. I think
Okay.
that this guy's floor is very, very low. Or no.
That's what you wanted to say, pick. I want his floor to be the basement.
Because he got high. Da, da, da.
His floor is
He
shallow.
didn't get high. That's the problem.
His floor is very shallow. To me, he is the modern NFL middle linebacker. He's slightly undersized, but he makes up for it in speed. He's a sideline to sideline middle linebacker that can stay with and cover NFL running backs. He can make tackles. He's a sure tackler, and he's going to take away the middle of the field. That is the most precious part of the field for NFL offenses these days.
Getting in the middle is always the most precious part.
It always
Remember
is
that,
the
yeah.
precious middle in between the sidelines.
Yeah, and that's why he's got a good defense protecting that middle.
This guy's a decorated linebacker. Had a lot of success at Georgia. Was the leader of their defense. I think that he can bring that leadership, those qualities to the Niners, and really be a special kind of player in today's NFL.
So, I really liked Roquan Smith early in the draft process. I started doing some research because he got connected to my team so frequently as an Oakland Raiders fan. I also have as my 9th pick in the draft, Roquan Smith to the Niners. And I fucking hope it happens because although I wouldn't mind this guy on my team, he's fast, he's agile, he's got the physical ability to play the weak side linebacker position on any team, but he's not a middle linebacker. He's too small. He's 6'1", 236. Sounds like appropriate size. It's comparable to Navarro Bowman size. But if you see the tape, his college tape, this guy gets dominated by college guards inside. This guy cannot stop the run. His move, he can be a factor in the run game by positioning himself around guards. But once he gets engaged, he cannot break the block. That is his greatest weakness. Doesn't make him a bad player. He's a sideline to sideline linebacker. Put that guy at outside linebacker, let him cover your tight ends and your running backs. The Raiders really need somebody like that. I wouldn't mind having him at 10 at all, but not to play middle linebacker. Put that guy on the outside in the right system. This guy's a fucking superstar. In the wrong system, used wrong, this guy will get eaten alive, man. If you try to put him down there in the middle, he's just going to get dominated by guards and centers in this particular league, tackles. He does have some blitzing ability. I tried to compare him and Tremaine Edwards in terms of stats, but it's not comparable. They're two completely different players. Both figure better to be on the outside. They're both talked about as middle linebackers. Neither of these guys is a middle linebacker whatsoever. They're both Roquan Smith at his best position. If he approaches his peak of his potential, he's a Derek Brooks type of player. That's who I think about.
Nice.
I'm glad you said that, man.
Nice
When I see
comment.
him, he's a Derek, but he needs to be in the right system. I think he's, just like we see guys like Telvin Smith, but you need a Campbell, a Calais Campbell in front of him. Then he can dominate. You need a Miles Jack in the middle. Getting in there, getting their head dirty. And if this guy gets to roam around and do his thing in the right system, this guy will be a perennial Pro Bowler, possible All Pro. This guy can change your team if he's in the right setup. So I think for him, it's really just if you get him in the right place, he's the motherfucking man. Plus, the reason I'd like to have him on the Raiders, I would love to have him drop to 10 and have him on my team, not at middle linebacker, but at weak side linebacker, have him cover that, shadow the tight end, get the running backs coming out of the backfield. He's got the speed and talent and agility to do that. He's a very talented player.
I got him at number 10. That's where he is. Number 10 overall the pick. He's going to the Raiders. Like you said with Derek Brooks. Who worked with Derek Brooks in Tampa Bay? John Gruden.
John Gruden.
And
Yeah, that's
gonna
a
be
good
in the
point.
System, and it's going to work
4.5 40 too from this guy. 4.5
Yeah, he just seems like a John Gruden guy. It seems like he's going to want leaders on his teams. Like he obviously had problems with the punter and with Michael Crabtree. He wants established football guys who aren't going to be distractions. And I think
This guy's
that's
a football player.
Yeah, that's Roquan Smith right here. That's who you're going to be bringing on your team. I think he's going to blend really well with Khalil Mack. And yeah, I think John Gruden will have pieces in play to start making his defense play better. I don't think they're going to be all pro by any means, but this is a step to move forward in that direction and take some, pressure off the offense. It's kind of asked to do everything right now, and maybe let them control the clock. Be able to stay off the field instead of having to play catch up all the time with people like the New England Patriots who essentially just blew them out in Mexico. I think
Oh yeah, just destroyed.
never even competitive.
I was working a tough event that day too.
Yeah, well, that was a tough event that happened that day. But I don't want to talk anymore. We've been talking about Roquan Smith for a long time. He deserves it, but we can move on with these guys. Who do you guys got with the Oakland Raiders at the
I'll
number
let
10
Ty
pick?
Dolla Sign go
Okay.
first.
Number 10, I have the Raiders taking Vita Vea, defensive tackle from University of Washington. This guy is unreal. His size, his strength are really unbelievable. He put up 45 reps.
It was ridiculous. It was a number that you shouldn't. It was
It's-
ridiculous. It was extravagant. It was marvelous.
He's 6'5", 340, and I don't even think that's correct. He might weigh even more. He's just a beast. He looks like the guy from Moana that The Rock plays.
From,
No, you guys didn't watch it?
Nope.
From what is it?
Nobody saw that movie.
Moana, the Disney movie.
No, I haven't seen it. Sorry.
Well, he looks just like that guy. This guy's a mauler. This guy, he dominates.
More like Mahler on
He dominates guards that are in front of him. Most guards are smaller than him. It might not be that way in the NFL, obviously, but he just has brute strength and size. His bull rush abilities are insane. He's still a very raw player, but I think if you can plug him in at nose guard next to Khalil Mack, he can plug up a lot of holes and allow Mack to work out in space on the edge.
What about on the football field though?
Hey, that can work too. I think he may be a project, but I think that he has ridiculous potential. I think the Raiders take Vidovia. He seems like a Raider.
Dude,
He feels like a Raider.
Yeah, dude, I fucking love where you guys are coming from. With Welty projected Roquan Smith, you projected Vita Villa. I love both those players. And I'm not going to lie, throughout the whole draft process, I've been debating which do I want more for us if they fall to us. It's between those two until I started watching tape on this guy named Minka Fitzpatrick. By all means, everybody's been ranking him extremely high. In most mock drafts, he goes before 10. In fact, you see Smith and Villa available at 10. You don't see Fitzpatrick in many mock drafts. In all of our drafts, he's available here. And I have the Raiders taking Minka Fitzpatrick. And after watching, I'm not breaking down the tape. I'm not breaking down game by game. I'm not seeing the lowlights. But when I watch the highlights, this guy reminds me of motherfucking Charles Woodson. He is fucking unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The physical ability, the hard nose, edge, the way he plays, the playmaking ability is what sticks out. This guy will go stick his nose in there to get a tackle for loss, or he'll return a pick six, 76 yards. This guy will play corner, slot corner, either safety position, wherever you need him. The guy can be there. This guy it's Tyrann Mathieu. It's the rich man's Tyrann Mathieu. Without the injury and character concerns, this guy is the motherfucking man. And what makes me contemplate, will the Raiders take another safety? He's not a safety. He played slot corner all of last season while rotating around other positions, but primarily as slot corner. We could use a slot corner. We could use another safety as well. We drafted safeties in the first and second rounds of the last two drafts, but when you got a playmaker of this caliber, it's hard to overlook a Roquan Smith, and it's hard to overlook a Vita Villa. These are two great, outstanding players. I'd love to have either of them, but if you have Minka Fitzpatrick on the board at this point, I feel like you got to make the call, man. You got to go for that playmaker. And a little bit on his stats, he had 16 and a half career tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 9 picks, 2 forced fumbles, 4 interception returns for touchdowns, and he also returned 2 kicks for touchdowns as well. 4.46 in the 40, 33-inch vert. The guy is an overall stud. He stands at 6 foot, 204. Slightly larger than a Tyrann Mathieu. I look at this guy like he's the bigger, stronger, better version of Tyrann Mathieu. And I think anybody would be blessed to have that guy on their roster. And I fucking hope we could land this guy. But if we got Vidovia or Roquan Smith, I would be stoked with either. And at the end of this, we weren't talking earlier, but let's talk at the last end part about who you guys want for the Chargers picks.
Okay. I can throw that in.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, so we wrap number 10. You guys hit number 11. I need to take a Coors Light sponsored.
All right, I'll hit number 11 since for some reason this seems an ongoing theme. I got number 11 actually was traded from with the Miami Dolphins moving up, and then we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving down. And I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking Minka Fitzpatrick. Tampa Bay was last in the league in pass defense last year.
Okay.
I know they're looking at some of the defensive players, obviously, and if this guy falls, that would be their dream scenario. I think there's other defensive players available they would like, and that's kind of why they trade down, and so they think they'd be okay with Vita Villa. Maybe if one of these linebackers drops, I don't even think that Derwin James would be out of the possibility for him. But since Mika's still there, that's who they're going to get. He's going to be instant playmaker. He's a Nick Saban guy over there in Alabama. He's played in big games. He's going to be a leader of a defense. Um, Very big guy. He can keep up with those tight ends who always seem to be a problem. And yeah, they play in a division that has a lot of playmakers on offense with Matt Ryan and Drew Brees. And so they need to step up that part of their game if they're going to be able to be competitive for a division. I think last year was a little rough with, they had, what was it, Jameis Winston kind of hurting his shoulder. They never really got into a rhythm. But I think that will be the smartest move. I think the offense is a little more safe than what people think. I think it's going to be better than it was last year without having to make massive upgrades. So yeah, Mika Fitzpatrick, he's going to go to Tampa Bay after they trade down with Miami.
Okay, I like that. So for 11, I have the Bills trading up one spot, trading a 2018 second round pick and 2019 second round pick in order to take their guy, Baker Mayfield.
Ooh.
Yes.
Quarterback's fallen. Oof.
Quarterback's falling. I think they get a little scared. I think they feel that the Dolphins are in need of a quarterback. They feel that the Dolphins will pull the trigger on Baker Mayfield, and they want to make sure they get their guy. So, unfortunately, I feel like this would be the worst landing spot for Baker Mayfield, who I like. I like.
Nobody wants to play for the Bills.
No one wants to play for the Bills.
Wait, you say
You're going to be the
that
star of Buffalo, New York. Congratulations.
but you say that you're worried about the Dolphins taking a quarterback, but they trade with the Dolphins for the pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
They give him something.
They give them enough to where they say,
They give him enough to where they say, okay, well,
get the F away from our guy.
we want this guy.
Yeah.
So they trade up. The Bills don't have a great infrastructure for developing quarterbacks.
Or a great temperature for this guy.
A great temperature for this guy. You play in upstate New York, there's going to be a lot of cold days, a lot of high winds. Baker Mayfield is not that kind of guy that can just throw through the wind.
Is like Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie, yeah. I mean,
it doesn't mean you can't succeed there.
It doesn't mean you can't, but everything has to be perfect and tailored around Baker Mayfield's skill set for him to be successful. And I don't think the Bills have that kind of infrastructure for him. It's unfortunate because I do like Baker Mayfield. I think he has a lot of skills and intangibles that can make him an elite NFL quarterback. But I think he's going to get lost in the Bills franchise, in the Bills organization. But that's what I feel they do. They get up, get their guy that they want, and it goes from there.
Yeah, all right. Hey, I don't hate the Bills wanting a quarterback and trading up. I find it extremely weird that the Bills would trade up one slot with the Dolphins, who could use a quarterback. What was the trade compensation?
I have them trading a second-round pick in this year's draft and a second-round pick in the 2019 draft.
Yeah, I think if the Miami Dolphins actually wanted a quarterback, it would take more than that.
Yeah.
And you should want Baker Mayfield because the Dolphins were one team that I had to really deal with on my mock draft because there's a couple times where I was like, they'll trade for Baker here, or they'll trade for Baker here. If he fell to the Dolphins at 11 straight up, I would have the Dolphins trading Baker Mayfield, or not trading, taking Baker Mayfield. I have them trying to trade up for the guy. But in my draft, Baker Mayfield went as Broadway Baker, number 3 overall, to the New York Jets. So that guy is far off the table. But the Dolphins are lucky. You know why? I'll tell you this much. We're talking biggest steal of the draft is going to be our feature category after we finish the mock draft. But I'm going to let mine go right now. And I'm going to say it right now. I think the biggest steal is going to be by the Dolphins at number 11. It's going to be quarterback, Louisville, Lamar Jackson.
Oh, the wild card of the draft.
I got the Dolphins taking the wild card. It's a wild card franchise. It's a wild card team. It's Miami. It's Lamar Jackson. It's swaggy. It's sexy. It's fun. It's exciting. It's not Ryan Tannehill. It's anti-Ryan Tannehill.
It's Willie Steven Beeman going back to Miami.
What's your favorite stat, Ty?
Lamar Jackson had more rushing yards and touchdowns in his career than an actual running back, Saquon Barkley.
The number one rated running back, not an actual running, the number one rated running back, supposedly the best player in the draft, okay? Lamar Jackson completed 57% of his passes. That's not huge, better than Josh Allen. 69 touchdowns, 27 picks. That's better than some of these other quarterbacks. 4,000 plus yards rushing and 50 rushing touchdowns. That's the X factor. I'll let your boy won the Heisman in 2016. This guy's nothing to scoff at. Everybody talks about it like, they want to dismiss Lamar Jackson. This is the future of the league, dude. The guy can play and after doing extra research, I thought Louisville must be playing some sort of spread style offense. He's been playing the same pro offense that produced Teddy Bridgewater and other quarterbacks before him. He's playing out of a pro style offense, but he's so great at innovating. He's so great at making things happen that he produces. Of course, there's spread, plays sprinkled in, run options and all that. But he's a pro style quarterback, man. This guy is going to be a fucking steal if the Dolphins can get him at 11 without trading up. Man, franchise changer. You're selling tickets, I'll tell you that much. You're at least selling tickets. And, that's a whole energy boost into the franchise. And I think it's if my mock draft falls the way it does and the Dolphins are here with Lamar Jackson available, you take that motherfucking pick right there and you make it happen, period.
All right.
Okay, I feel you on that one. So we on to the next pick, with the last pick of our mock draft.
Hey, let's go ahead and as we each do our last pick, let's go ahead and run down our mock drafts so we can just pick by pick.
Oh, who I got?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll just start with what I have so far for the draft. So right now, number one is I have Josh Allen. Josh Allen is going to get drafted number one overall by the Cleveland Browns. Number two, I had the New York Jets trading up with the New York Giants to the number 2 spot.
Interesting trade.
I think the Jets, if they get their guy to fall, if they get Sam Darnold to go to number 2, they are willing to pay even more to get up and get him. Just quit playing around with quarterback. Just go get a quarterback.
Just get him.
Just get him. You're done with it. Giants are going to be big winners. They're going to get Saquon Barkley out of it. They're going to get extra draft picks.
Consolation prize.
They're going to get the last out of Eli Manning they can before it's time to move on. And by the time they start moving on, at least they'll have a leading rusher to be able to carry the torch for the next generation that comes in. Who do I have at number 3 here? Let's take a look real quick. Got to check out what my notes say. Since I had, the Giants were number 3, Saquon Barkley. Number 4, I had the Denver Broncos. I had them moving up to get Josh Rosen. They were going to move up. They were going to get their guy too. It's pretty much a block, like you guys are saying. They want to make sure nobody else moves up, and they want to get their quarterback.
Strategery.
Very, very well executed strategery. They're not going to have to pay that much to move up, and they can still get the guy that hopefully will change that franchise. And then, since they trade up, I got the Browns moving down, and they're getting the Chubber. They're getting the full
Chub.
Everyone loves a full Chub.
Everybody does.
All right. So number 6, Quentin Nelson. He's going to protect Andrew Luck. Number 7, I got the Miami Dolphins moving up to take the Tampa Bay spot in number 7 to get Baker Mayfield. And then I have the Chicago Bears. They're going to get their linebacker of the future, so they're getting Tremont Edwards. I got number 9. I got Denzel Ward going to the 49ers, teaming up with Richard Sherman. Number 10, going to the Raiders, Raekwon Smith is going to join up with John Gruden. They're going to work with Khalil Mack. They're going to be a solid defense. Number 11, since the Tampa Bay moved down, they're getting Mika Fitzpatrick. They were last in the league in pass defense. They're going to solidify that. Number 12 pick from the Buffalo Bills is going to be Calvin Ridley. They have nobody catching the ball. They need to do something. It doesn't matter if they get a quarterback. The quarterback isn't going to help them if nobody can catch the ball. Let's get a couple pieces in there. And
let me ask you right now, why not take Lamar Jackson?
I just don't think that it's going to...
Wait. I thought you had the Bills moving up.
No, I had Tampa Bay that actually moved down, and Miami moved up. The Bills stay pat. I was thinking about it. It was just too rich. They didn't want to give up everything. And so, I think they're just going to go get that wide receiver. Maybe test out this, backup quarterback they got over there running the whole show. What's his name again? He used to be over there in Cincinnati for a while.
AJ McCarron.
They're going to see what they got with AJ McCarron.
That's fine.
It's the Bills. They don't ever have a quarterback. They don't do that.
Yeah, that's some white boy shit.
But they definitely draft first-round wide receivers. So since they got rid of Sammy Watkins last year, it's time to replace him. So that's your top 12.
Alabama to Alabama.
Alabama, man.
That's a move nobody wants to make. Nobody wants
kids,
to go
it's
to
Alabama, man.
Alabama, man.
You got my top 12. Write it down, make your sports bets.
That's an effing fucking top 12. That's an effing Welty 12.
All right.
So you want to run through yours?
Yeah. So just to recap, number 1, I had Browns taking Sam Darnold. 2, I had the Broncos trading up to take Josh Allen. 3, Jets drafting Josh Rosen. Number 4, Browns staying, drafting Bradley Chubb. 5, the Giants pick via trade with Broncos, taking Quentin Nelson. 6, Colts taking Tremaine Edmonds. 7, Buccaneers taking Saquon Barkley. 8, Denzel Ward going to the Bears. 9, Roquan Smith going to the 49ers. 10, Vita Vea going to the Raiders. 11, Bills trading up to get Baker Mayfield. And for 12, the Dolphins with their trade spot, I'm having them take Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
Minkah Fitzpatrick is, to me, along with Roquan Smith, he's one of the safest players to take in this draft. He's a super decorated player, won national championships, was a leader on the Alabama defense. Nick Saban thinks highly of him. He's got a really special skill set. He's probably going to come in day one and be a slot corner for your team, and just take away those guys in the middle of the field. He's got a lot of ball skills. Made a lot of picks in Alabama.
Wait, how does he work with the football though?
He's got a lot of tip drills too.
Oh,
they do a lot of tip drills.
All right, I approve. Thumbs up.
And he's just a leader. He's a leader on the field, leader in the locker room. I think it's a very solid pick for the Dolphins.
I think based on all our mock drafts, I'm going to cut you off.
It's okay. That's pretty much all I have to say.
I think with Minkah Fitzpatrick, like that particular player, I think he goes sooner than any of us had him going. Honestly,
it's very possible.
I think subconsciously I had him falling to the Raiders, but I think he goes beforehand because that guy is a player. If you look at the tape, if you look at the highlight reel at least, this guy is a fucking it made me think about Charles Woodson, I swear to God. So I'll run down my future stud hopeful mock draft because I got him falling to the Raiders in mine at 10. I had a Cleveland quarterback Josh Allen. Where there's smoke, there's fire. At number 2, epic trade. Buffalo Bills come in, trade a bunch of picks to steal the Giants pick and draft Sam Darnold, the safest quarterback in the draft. And at number 3, Broadway Baker. The Jets get Broadway Baker Mayfield with a riskier choice than the Sam Darnold, but I think a higher upside, franchise-changing potential move. Statistically, at least half these quarterbacks are going to bust out, if not almost all of them. We'll see who succeeds, but that's why I think Arizona trades up with a king's ransom to get to number 4, and they give the Browns a ton of picks. They come in, they get Josh Rosen, who in some people's opinion is the best quarterback in the draft. So we got quarterbacks going in the first 4 picks. And to be honest, guys, who knows who's the best out of these quarterbacks? Well, only time will tell. And I think the Cardinals maybe steal the best quarterback out of them, or maybe the worst. Who knows? But that team needs a franchise quarterback. That's an aggressive front office. Number 5, I got Bradley Chubb going to Denver. Hook him up with Von Miller, Sack City. Let's get that defense back on track. Number 6, we got Quentin Nelson going to the Colts. Protect Andrew Luck, but let's pave the way for our future running game. You can get a running back in the 2nd round who is a potential first rounder this year. Number 7, the actual Saquon Barkley. You get the best guy from the draft, a guy who's supposed to be, intangibles, skills, the 40 time, the bench press. He bench pressed a lot more than a lot of offensive linemen. They're looking at it for the first. That's crazy. All right, so number 8, Tremaine Edmonds, the biggest wild card of the entire draft. Could be an all-pro, could be out of the league in 3 years. That's tough as a GM. If you look at the skills, if you look at the guy and watch his tape, everything's there. But also, there's the plays where he's not there. And he's 19. You can teach it, but will he be willing to be observing and obtaining this information when he's 19 years old and he's worth, how much does a rookie at number 8 slot get guaranteed?
A lot of money, I don't know.
I don't know.
Millions and millions
I'm not getting paid, so I don't care.
Millions and millions of dollars. Number 9, Roquan Smith. Like Ty Dolla $ign, one of the safest players. If you put him in the right position, this guy's not a middle linebacker. He's a weak side linebacker. But if you put him there and you put him the right guys in front of him, superstar. Fucking superstar. Great potential, can cover tight ends and linebackers. Number 10, my Oakland Raiders. I'm hoping that Minka Fitzpatrick falls to us. If not, I'd love Roquan Smith or Vita Vea as Ty Dolla $ign picked. I'd love either player or this guy. This guy is the second coming. I feel like he's like Tyrann Mathieu and Charles Woodson wrapped into one. Not quite to Charles Woodson's level, but above Tyrann Mathieu's level.
Gotcha.
In between. Kind of pancaked. He's the middle pancake out of the three stack.
That's one.
Number 11, I have Lamar Jackson. Motherfucking, that guy is a fucking stud. The dude's awesome. I think he's going to prove all of his doubters wrong. I think he's going to be the man for Miami, the way it falls in my draft, or wherever that guy lands. He's going to be the motherfucking man. I believe in that guy. And then at number 12, for the New York Giants, after trading down with the Bills, with their consolation prize is an excellent shutdown cornerback in Denzel Ward, who's going to come through with a secondary that already has Landon Collins and a failing Eli Apple. And he's going to come through, kick Eli Apple out the fucking front door as soon as he gets there. And he's going to help solidify the backside. I was thinking either Marcus Davenport or maybe a Vita Vea here. But I'm going to go with the secondary. And let's reinsure the secondary here, get the best corner in the draft, and make it happen.
Cool.
I like it.
All right, so I'm just going to run down until we get to the Chargers. So we left off at 12. 13, we got, let's see here on the number 13. Who's got number 13?
Should we collectively run this down?
Well, I mean, if you want to. We all have different guys that are off the board, but I'm going Vita Vea. They had the last in the league in rushing defense. Put him next to Ryan Kerrigan, try to help that out a little bit. Green Bay's going to get Derwin James. They're going to be stoked. This guy's a crazy athlete. He's going to fall to
a guy very potentially could go in the top 10.
Very potentially. Yeah, honestly, he's going to fall to Green Bay here. The Cardinals, this is Lamar Jackson's spot. Welcome to Arizona. Ready to get it on fire.
You're lucky to get him there.
It's going to be fun to watch. And then the poor Ravens, man. What do you do? Everything is bad.
Everything's gone.
Everything's just over. But I think that you said you're going to go after Marcus Davenport. Like you're talking about.
Maybe Daron Payne.
Daron Payne wouldn't be bad too. Yeah. Get all those defensive tackles off the board right here. San Diego Chargers, I think they're going to get that linebacker, the one that comes out of Boise State's Vander Esch Kulabach.
Ashken version.
Van Esch.
Wagenish, Oshkosh Bagash.
Wagenashen. Vander Oshkosh Bagosh.
I would like if the Chargers got Van Esch.
Yeah, they have a terrible rush defense as well, and they don't have any really linebackers that you can trust. So that's what I got. You guys can keep going if you want to roll.
I think it's more realistic that Van Esch falls to the Chargers, and it'd be really cool if they got him. But my fantasy is that Derwin James somehow falls.
Oh my God! You guys could get Derwin James.
Derwin James he's right there with Minkah Fitzpatrick. They're different kind of players, but he's a rangy 6'3", big safety that can come up and just make big hits. They used him as a hybrid linebacker at Florida State. He would come up, play near the line of scrimmage, and he's a savvy blitzer that can make a ton of plays. Doesn't have great ball skills, but
he's a beast. Physically, he's a
physical.
He's a Jalen Ramsey. He's not quite on his level, but
he's a physically dominant player.
He's a really fucking.
And I think it'd
really good player.
I think it'd be great for the Chargers to have a player like him because they have a shored up defensive line. Casey Hayward is an all-pro cornerback for them. If they can get
Did he make all-pro last year?
He's a Pro Bowler. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. There's a big difference.
Look at his stats. He's the best corner in the league.
All right. Chris Harris is the slot corner all-pro. Casey Hayward was a great fucking free agent signing and a Pro Bowler.
Best corner in the league. Look at the stats. He's got the stats to back it up.
Some guys.
I think if they got Derwin James, that could just really just put a cherry on top of that defense.
Motherfucker. All right. So I'll tell you this much. Tell me this, guys, before I make my San Diego Chargers pick. I'm sorry. Los Angeles Chargers pick. That was on accident. Wasn't even on purpose. I fucking swear to God, it wasn't on purpose.
Swear, dude.
What are your team's top three biggest needs position wise?
Middle of the defense is
middle of the defense.
Safety, linebacker, defensive tackle. That's it. That's where they were really.
So I'll give you one of each. I'll give you a safety. Nobody's
left. Nobody's
Derwin James will be gone.
And our GM doesn't value safeties that high. That's why we always need them. That's why Eric Weddle left.
There won't be any linebackers either. You know what you guys are gotta hope for. It's not even hope. It's like you gotta either wish and dream that Vita Vea is there, and he may be. It's very realistic. And I think that might be your actual pick, and it'll be an amazing pick, and I'll be so pissed off, but I won't be because we got a better player. You know.
Well, because your team lost more games than it's a better pick.
But
that's how that works.
Vita Vea is like, I'd love him on the roster if we get him. If not, I think he'll fall. Defensive tackles tend to fall further down. And I think that'll be the guy for you guys, to be honest. If it's not him, get Daron Payne.
All right, let's keep rolling. Let's do a soft mock for the rest. Just give you guys a rundown for all the fans and teams that are below the top 17.
You really want to do the soft mock?
Do the soft mock.
I don't do any preparation.
The sock hop.
See, these guys have been doing research.
We all had different guys off the board, like you said. I think we're going to do our boomer bust.
Boomer bust? You say boomer bust, you got to say Josh Allen. Josh Allen has got to be the boomer bust.
Yeah, like boomer bust. Like who is your biggest steal and who is your biggest bust?
Biggest steal is Chubb. I just like saying
wherever he goes.
Wherever he goes.
Wherever he goes. Once he's not number one, you're saying he's already a steal.
He's already a steal.
And I think
the Broncos snag him. You know, somehow the Browns snag him.
What if
the Colts snag him?
What if Bilbo Baggins snagged him?
Bilbo
Baggins snagged him.
So you're saying if Bilbo Baggins had a Chubb, that'd be good?
Yeah.
He probably does have a Chubb.
He would have snagged him. So you're saying if Bradley, what if he went number one overall? Would you still say it was a biggest steal?
No, you can't steal anybody number one. You can't steal anybody number one.
You're saying Bradley Chubb, wherever he drops to, is too far?
For the most part, because I think all the quarterbacks are going to go.
What's your biggest bust? Who's going to bust out?
Are you saying bust out as in do well or bust out as in not do
Bust,
well?
like-
Bust out of the league.
Bust in their pants.
Who's going to be out of the league in 3 years? Like, which one of these guys will get a second chance, but within 6 years will not play in the NFL? They'll have no stat line.
Vita.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Why don't that guy's such a hard worker? He's so talented.
I think the
I
guy.
think you projected him to your own team. That is some.
No, I didn't. You did.
Like I thought you
No, I did not.
No.
That was you. You're projecting.
You
Rory.
did.
Did I?
Yes.
Yeah, did he?
No. He had Van Den Esch.
Or you projected him to my team? Yeah, because he's a hater, of course.
Yeah.
Fucking hater.
Big
yeah,
bust. I had you guys have Roquan Smith. You weren't even paying attention.
You're a fucking.
I had Vita going to Washington and busting in Washington, just like everybody else does.
Busting
cool.
into Washington.
Yeah, you bust into Washington.
What about him makes you think he's going to be a bust?
Yeah, what
I just
about
don't know
this
if
guy,
he's
this-
tough enough. I feel like
This better version of hello.
Well, they
Good
say
Night.
they take
Like,
a lot of plays
but-
off. That worries.
He doesn't take plays off. Who says that?
There's rumors that
What rumors?
he plays amazing, but then look at the tape. Look at the tape.
You're thinking of
Tell-
Hurst.
tell-
You're
tell me
thinking
about
of
your
thinking
tape.
of Hurst, the defensive tackle from Michigan. You're talking about the wrong player.
McDowell? No, that was the guy that went to
Marquise Hurst. You're not talking about Vita. I'll tell you that much.
No.
The guy's not. He doesn't lack.
So you think he's going to
Effort.
be? You think that's going to be your boom guy? That's going to be one of your top guys in the draft?
I think that's somebody you can put your cap on. I'm not gonna put my fucking boom on him.
All
But
right.
I think that's one of the guys that you could put your cash on. You put your
You
cash on
got your
that
money
guy.
on Vita
You get your money back at least.
on the V Dub? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Vita
all
Vea, like I think that guy is gonna. You're either getting an all pro or a steady starter for 10 years. Like with that guy is gonna be legitimate.
I'm really excited because we have all this recorded. So next year we can go back and look like,
Yeah.
you're
It's not
way
about next year.
fucking wrong.
It takes 3 years to study a draft class. So hopefully we're still doing this 3 years from now.
Yeah, then we can really make fun of each other.
All right.
Like, you remember Sam Darnold, guys? Just kidding. All right, go ahead.
Shit,
Boom,
no.
bust.
My biggest bust is Tremaine Edmonds.
Huge bust.
He has huge bust potential.
Where do you have him going?
I have him going number 6 to the Colts.
Yeah.
Just based on, basically,
Seems like a
he-
Irsay move.
I know for me, I didn't know too much about him until the combine. This guy is a classic combine freak warrior.
Vernon Golston.
Vernon Golston put up crazy numbers, has incredible size. There's just so much potential with him that it could be very easy to use him in the wrong way. And the odds are likely that he will be used in the wrong way. And there's
Nobody
not-
likes to be used in the wrong way.
no one does. And he's not going to carve out a niche in the NFL. I hope he does, but it's more likely that he won't. My biggest sleeper,
Sleeper.
you guys heard of this guy? James Washington, wide receiver from Oklahoma State.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sleeping on him.
All right. You keep sleeping on him. This guy was the number one option at a crazy offense in Oklahoma State. He was Mason Rudolph's number one guy. He was a starter for 3 years, put up at least 1,000 yards in all those 3 years. Had super production. Is a quick, explosive player. He's not a big guy. He's 5'11", 6 feet tall, kind of in the mold of Antonio Brown. Has a similar game to him. He can jump and get the ball. He is a jump ball player. He's got quick feet. He's projected to go in the second or third round. I think if you can get him in those rounds, you're going to have a very solid player that can come in and be at least a day one slot receiver for your team and be a productive receiver.
I got Rashad Penny in San Diego State.
All right?
Yeah, honestly, I think he's going to come in. He's going to be a great third down back. You can see him in the Darren Sproles role. You can see him just kind of that scat back. Maybe who's that guy that went to Carolina last year, from Stanford that was
Christian
doing
McCaffrey.
Yeah, McCaffrey. I can see him kind of doing that same role. And maybe if he goes to the Patriots, maybe kind of filling the Deion Lewis role. I think that would be kind of fun to watch. That's going to be my sleeper of the draft. Whoever gets him is going to get a playmaker. Who do you guys a sleeper, Roy?
Sleeper. I was gonna say my biggest steal.
Oh,
It's not even a sleeper. This isn't a sleeper pick. As a sleeper, there's a slot wide receiver that comes out of. Let me find this dude. I was gonna do my actual
All right.
selections here for like biggest steal and biggest bust.
A sleeper is a steal, though.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
it's kind of the same
yeah,
thing.
that's like
Everyone's
saying-
sleeping on him and you steal him.
Who did you say for your original one? It was somebody who's so obvious, like he's up here. Like
Rashad Penny is I had as a steal or a sleeper. Oh, as a steal is Chubb, I guess you could say, is one of
yeah,
those guys.
you start off with Chubb. That's what like steal.
Okay, I see.
You know, there's a difference between this.
I
thing.
see.
Still, I feel like Minka Fitzpatrick. If
We
the
got
Raiders
the
get
terms wrong.
if Raiders got well, we can throw sleepers in right now. We're doing it. But like, let me give you mine. Like the things I plan for. Minka Fitzpatrick, he's a steal at 10. If he falls to the Raiders at 10, that is the biggest steal in the entire draft. You know, he's a top 10 player, but he's really talent-wise, he's the top 5 player. So with all these quarterbacks in my draft, my mock draft, I have 4 quarterbacks in the top 5. So almost anybody who slides out of there is a fucking steal at that point. Biggest bust, Marquise Hurst, defensive tackle out of Michigan. The guy's got heart conditions. He's the best pass rushing defensive tackle in the draft. Just got cleared. Couldn't participate in the combine. Undersized. You know, it's that type of guy with this potential. You see some tape where he's sacking quarterbacks, but you getting big man by college offensive linemen and stuff. Like I'd call that guy the biggest potential bust for sure. And sleeper, like I don't know. Somebody else talk for a second because I can find him. I know the guy that I'm thinking about.
I got a question. Where do you guys think Mason Rudolph goes?
I think
second round.
I think he may go to the Ravens. I think the Ravens.
Oh, in first round?
Yeah.
So do you have? I have 6 quarterback going in the first round. What do you have?
I would say it's 6.
Yeah.
I would say.
So
but
you
I would
have
say
Lamar
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson goes before.
So who's going?
So that would be 7.
No.
No, I'd be 6.
Would it?
Yeah.
Who's the top 5 that we talked
Oh
about?
yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
I got the same thing. I think
I've
Rudolph sneaks in the
I've
first round.
got 12 quarterbacks.
I think the Ravens are. I mean, obviously they're still committed to Joe Flacco. He still has that huge contract they have to pay out. But you know, it's not too late to start trying to build for the future. Mason Rudolph was an extremely productive quarterback at
Yeah.
Oklahoma State.
He's got New England Patriots written all over him. He got the 2
Patriots.
first-round picks.
The Patriots
They-
are in the quarterback game too.
They always are the quarterback. They
Yeah.
get the guy, and then they trade him for the next 3 guys they need to build their team up.
Now
It's
more
genius.
than ever.
My biggest.
Yeah, now they don't have anybody. Who do
Yeah.
they have? Is the guy that used to be with Cleveland, the guy that used to be with Houston, it's the road warrior.
They're all gone.
Yeah, it's all over.
My biggest sleeper is Christian Clark, Texas A&M wide receiver.
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk. Did I say
Captain
it wrong?
Kirk?
Yeah.
Captain
Captain
Kirk.
Kirk.
I said Clifton Clark. Christian Kirk, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. So I didn't write any notes for this particular one. Coors Light's got me going proper. Christian Kirk, great spot receiver, first round value. I think he'll fall to the second round. I think he'll be one of the epic sleepers, of this particular draft class. And that's my sleeper, Christian Kirk.
Sweet. You guys got anything else to say about the draft? Anything that you're looking forward to, or?
I'm just looking forward to the draft overall. I think it's going to be really entertaining. I think there's going to be a lot of drafts, maybe some drafts that we haven't even gone over in either of our 3 mock drafts.
Yeah.
That just blows away.
I think one thing for sure is because all these 5 quarterbacks, possibly 6, there's going to be trades like crazy. It's going to be a madhouse, and if we even get 2 of them right, I think that'd be incredible. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of phone calls being made on draft day, and this is when deals are made, and that 15-minute clock got changed to a 10-minute clock, and I think that puts a whole other pressure on these teams.
Teams are
making
going to
these deals.
scramble.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Who panics? Who's going to hit the panic button?
Yes.
We all want to know.
This is why it's impossible to go on like, Todd, you talking about trades for the mock draft? Todd McShay just dropped the trades in his first mock draft on Mel Kiper for the first time ever. Mel was not happy about it.
It's unrealistic.
It's unrealistic, man. There ain't gonna be no straight up top 10. It's not happening in today's NFL. It's trade happy. And I like that. I like that. You like that?
Make moves, get your guy, build your team, and
It's
give us
fun.
something entertaining to watch. This is entertainment business. We want something until
Let's get another
the last week of
Let's
August.
get another Bond mask. Smoking.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's the most entertaining.
Somebody get high on
Dolphins
tape.
tackle
Laramie Tunsil.
Laramie Tunsil. Oh my god. You went from a top fucking 5 pick and you floated all the way down like
I hope that was some good weed, man.
He was high.
yeah.
He was high.
He was high. Let's give him some credit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so holla at your boy, holla
You
at your
do
boy.
it.
You know what? It
Tunsil,
worked
you
out for
do
him.
you.
He ended up going to Miami.
He went to
He's having a good time.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
They got plenty of gas masks out
Smoking
there.
that gas.
Laramie Tunsil out of Ole Miss. Shout out to Ole Miss. You guys are doing weed apparently. This is a fucking effing fucking motherfucking football podcast. I don't know what I would call it. Effing should be the fucking football podcast. That's for you to figure it out. And I'm your boy Rory JC.
I'm Dolla.
I'm Welty.
And thank you so much for checking out another episode. Check back next week for the draft recap. Holla at the squad.
Leave any comments if you want.
Leave comments and please email us because we'll respond to it.
All facts, no whack.
All facts, no wax. Hashtag ding ding effing football.
All facts, no crack.